happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a reaction to the Beautiful South and their album Carry On Up the Charts, the best of the Beautiful South, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. We could not do it without the patrons. It takes a lot of man hours to get this thing going every month, so we so appreciate it. All right, I don't know anything from the Beautiful South, but about 2.5 years ago, Richard brought a top 10 of the House Martins / the Beautiful South that Trey did. It was very well received, so thought about letting Trey do this one, but I've never heard of them, so I decided to do this one. So just a little bit of info on them if you don't know who they are. The Beautiful South were an English pop rock band formed in 1988 by Paul Heaton and Dave Hemingway, two former members of the whole group, the House Martins, both of whom performed lead and backing vocals. Other members throughout the band's existence were former House Martins roadie Sean Welsh on bass, Dave Steed on drums, and Dave Rothery on guitar. The band's original material was written by Heaton and Rothery. After the band's first album, Welcome to the Beautiful South, in 1989, recorded as a quintet, they were joined by a succession of female vocalists. All of the following artists performed lead and backing vocals alongside Heaton and Hemingway. Brianna Corrigan for albums 2 and 3 after appearing as a guest vocalist on 1, followed by Jackie Habit for the 4th to 7th albums, and finally Allison Wheeler for the final 3 Beautiful South albums. Now, of course, it's only the first few albums on this compilation. The group were known for their wry and socially observant lyrics. They broke up in January 2007, claiming the split was due to, quote, musical similarities, having sold around 15 million records. This album, Carry On Up the Charts, the best of the Beautiful South, is the group's 5th album in their first greatest hits collection. It was a major commercial success, reaching #1 in the UK and going on to become the second biggest selling album of 1994. Such was the album's popularity, it was claimed that 1 in 7 British households owned a copy. I always like those stats, man. The album includes all of the single releases from the band's first 5 years in order of their release. Its title is a reference to the Carry On film series. All tracks are written by Dave Rothery and Paul Heaton, except where noted. So the music will not be in the video, but it will be at a Vimeo link below. So click on that and follow along. So the first track, Song for Whoever. They've got the single edit on this compilation. Of course, from Welcome to the Beautiful South in 1989, their debut. The first and highest charting single from their debut album. It peaked at #2 in the UK, 5 in Ireland. It is sung from the point of view of a cynical songwriter who romances women solely to get material for love songs. All right, I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Richard. All right, the very clever Song for Whoever, and it's what I told you about. Like they have this shout out to all these different women almost harmonizing their names. The lyrics, they're 1989, late at night in the typewriter light, ripped his ribbons to shreds. Like, shout out to the typewriter days. I'm old, guys. I remember those days and getting everything just right in there, and the ribbon wasn't aligned and all that good stuff. But I digress. Good song, good harmonizing, good instrumentation and arrangement, nice keyboard in there. So good way to start, a good introduction for me to the Beautiful South. Obviously on the same album from the Beautiful South in 1989, we got You Keep It All In. Obviously also remember these in chronological order. Second single, 8 in the UK, 3 in Ireland, and 19 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart in the US. Keep It All In. Of course, we got Brianna Corrigan at the start. I just like the mix, right? We got Heaton in there. We got Dave Hemingway in there. We just got all of this stuff going in. And, she's telling the husband, you keep it all in. And he's telling her all these other bad things, That's right, I keep it all in. But then it takes a shift towards the end. That's sweet, the conversation we had last week. Heaton says, when you gagged and bound me up to my seat, you're right, I do. I keep it all in. So, yeah, just a fun little quick song, under 3 minutes, but really well done. We'll keep one more song from Welcome to the Beautiful South in '89. I'll Sail This Ship Alone. Third and final single from the album. Went to 31 in the UK. It was remixed for its release as a single, whereas the album version was mainly a simple piano and strings production. The drums were more prominent on the single version, and of course, because it's a greatest hits, this is the single version. Gotta be quick, man. They go right up to the very end with vocals. So a pretty clever song here. This girl's left him, right? And she's with someone else, we learn. And there's a cool play on words because he talks about, well, they said if I wrote the perfect love song, that you would take me back. Well, I wrote it, but I lost it. And now will you take me back anyway? So he's done all these things. That's where he's going to he'll sail the ship alone if, she's not coming back. That's the recurring theme. But then, well, they said if I wrote the perfect letter that I would have a chance. Well, I wrote it and you burnt it. And now do I have a chance anyway? And then at the very end, the outro, well, they said if I burnt myself alive that you'd come running back. I don't advise trying that, boys. I don't advise trying that. But a nice song, and I like the interplaying of vocals. All right, next up, we're going to move to their second studio album, Choke, from 1990, just the very next year. We got A Little Time. It's the lead single, duet featuring Dave Hemingway and Brianna Corrigan. She's around for this one too. It's the band's only single to reach #1 on the UK singles chart, and it peaked inside the top 20 in Austria, Belgium, Ireland, and the Netherlands. The Beautiful South have given different interpretations about the song's meaning. Songwriter Paul Heaton said that it was about relationships in general, while co-writer David Rothery considers it an unconventional love song. Brianna Corrigan explained that the song encapsulates an everyday situation, as love is not always a good thing and can lead to conflict. The video won the 1991 Brit Award for British Video of the Year, which is their only Brit Award that they ever won. All right, the classic story of, somebody in relationships wants to take a break. In this case, it's the guy who wants to take a little break. And I guess they were going to get married because, it's a verse, and then Brianna comes in and sings the counterverse. But in the first counterverse, promises, promises turn to dust. Wedding bells just turn to rust. Trust into mistrust. So he needs a little room to find himself. So he's going to go play the field a little bit. He's going to go date other people. And she says, you need a little room for your big head, don't you? You need a little space for 1,000 beds, won't you? Won't you? So, she understands he's going to go be with other people. And then he comes back in verse 3 and says he had a little time, but he still loves her. He wants her back. But she says, you had a little time, you had a little fun, didn't you? Didn't you? Well, you had yours. Do you think I didn't? Or I had none? Do you? Do you? The freedom you wanted bad is yours for good. I hope you're glad. Sad into unsad. So she's letting him know that, you know what? I went and had my fun too. And I realized you were right. We needed to be apart. So he wanted her back, but it was too late. You cannot go off and have your fun and come back. He thought she'd be waiting for him, but that was not the case. And we'll stay on the Choke album. This time we got My Book. All right, My Book basically is a life story, right? It talks about the first pre-chorus. Diary entry 9th of May, 62. We've had some ugly babies, but none were quite like you. And so they kind of just go on from that. He talks about I'm a failure. This is my life and how it reads. A documentary that nobody believes. Diary entry 68 end of year, talks about Apollo 6, a trip to Mars. And then diary entry right when this thing was kind of made, right? 10th of April, 89. So they're probably recording at this time. The world is going mad, but me, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. And then back to bed, back to reality in that outro, just kind of over and over. So Brianna comes in some, just kind of for backing and supporting. So that works. And one more song from that Choke album in 1990. We got Let Love Speak Up Itself. That is not an easy thing to say. It does not flow. Let Love Speak Up Itself. What I like is they don't write anything down the middle like formulaic like you would think, right? This is not a love song. It is, but it's not, right? It like lets you know that it's not really going to always be great. So when you feel a little tatty and unhappy with your face, let it breathe into us and put you back in place. Let it breathe, let it breathe. From the day it came into us till the day it wants to leave, for it will go, and it will not say goodbye, just like it didn't say hello. Like love can be a fleeting thing, right? There will not be a send-off, no funeral or mass, just a pathetic little vodka from a dirty little glass. So I just thought that was really well put. And I mean, they go through other scenarios in here too, but yeah, I mean, that song was well done. Like I said, cleverly written. Now we're going to shift over to the third album, 0898 Beautiful South from 1992, their third studio album. So a couple years later. We got Old Red Eyes is back. Lead single 22 in the UK. Lead vocals provided by Paul Heaton with co-vocalist Brianna Corrigan and Dave Hemingway featured occasionally in the background. The song's a title play, of course, on Old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra's 1973 album, Old Blue Eyes is back. Heaton's lyrics deal with a man named Old Red, clearly a man suffering with alcoholism, as Heaton has at several times in his life. The subject matter is a common theme throughout the Beautiful South's material, but Old Red Eyes is back is arguably the most graphic account of the perils of alcoholism amongst their song catalog. If you're watching this, you're probably a big fan of them. You probably knew that, but I didn't, so that's why I kind of wanted to share that with those of us who didn't know that. Okay, Old Red Eyes is back. This is an incredibly well-written song. Right, and just basically it's the alcoholic, right? And in the chorus, they're only red from all the tears that I should have shed. They're only red from all the women that I should have wed. So like he's back in town, but he's drinking. Like in the first verse, they're red from the night before, because that's all he does is drink. And then verse 2, listen up, old red. You never listened to a word the doctor said. He told you if you drank another, you'd be dead. Old Red Eyes is back. And then they're only red from all the thoughts unused inside my head. They're only red from all the things I could have done instead. And then he ends up dying, and every single landlord in the district cried. I'm guessing the landlords at the bars, right? Empty bottle of whiskey laying by his side, a lazy little tear running from each eye. But the arrangements in all these songs, the musicianship is fantastic. I like the different vocalists popping in, the female vocalists in there. We're the halfway mark, so kind of give you a little feel for it so far. It's a greatest hit, so of course, all the songs are going to be good. And we'll stay on the 0898 Beautiful South album. We got We Are Each Other. All right, We Are Each Other, and basically just a story of these two. I'm gonna guess they're romantically involved, right? And they're so close. They're closer than, and they give all these scenarios. They're closer than this to this, and just a really pleasant arrangement, just a pleasant song. It's the melody was really nice. I need to give some shout outs here, and I haven't yet, to Dave Rothery on the guitar, obviously, and then Dave Steed on the drums, and then Sean Welsh on the bass. A very tight instrumental group, as well as just all the vocals working because of the different people singing, like Heaton and Hemingway. Like, they just blend nicely. And we still got a couple more from this 0898 Beautiful South album. This one's Bell Bottom Tear. Bell Bottom Tear, pretty simple song as far as I think what it's about. I think it's about a one-night stand, but they kind of have feelings for each other, but they know it can't be. So just kind of run this down. But really well done between Brianna and Brianna. You can say that either way. I'm going to say Brianna. I don't know. Maybe I've said it the other way. One of those two ways will be right. And Dave, right? The way they do these songs, there's a lot of thought to them, right? The way you layer the female and male and decide who's doing what, and then you layer them over each other. So just a very, very pleasant song. Again, the melody was really well done. And we got the last song we're going to do on from 0898 Beautiful South. We got 36D, went to 46 in the UK. The overtly sexual content of the song may be a reason why it did not chart highly as a single. It was one of the catalysts for Brianna Corrigan leaving, as she thought it painted glamour models, especially page 3 girls, in a bad light, when the media who put them there should be blamed instead. Okay? Look, that's a great melody, man. It really sticks in your head. And basically, he's calling out these pinup girls, right? Saying, look, you've got all of these looks and all this stuff, but you want to be more. And you're really just this object. You're objectified, right? But you want to be more. So, and even the guys that work for the magazines are paying you. You think you're kind of coming out ahead, but they're really, quote, screwing you as well, right? So, it's a good song. I'm not a woman, so I can't say how offended I would be if I am one, right? So I'm not even going to go there. So, if Brianna wanted to leave over this, I get it. Time to move on to the 4th album, Meow, in 1994, Good as Gold. Good as Gold, I didn't mention at the start, Stupid as Mud. And it's basically just an individual who's kind of clueless, right? But just kind of carries on and pushes on. Like the pre-chorus is carry on with laugh, carry on with cry, carry on with brown under moonlit sky. Of course, I want my love, my joy, my laugh, my smile, my needs. Not in the star signs or the poem that she reads. So he's just pushing on for happiness. But you've got Brianna is gone, as we mentioned on 36Ds. You got Jackie Abbott in there singing the backing on there. So another song that has a fantastic melody. Now we'll keep with the Meow album. We got Everybody's Talking. It's a song written and recorded by American singer-songwriter Fred Neil in 1966 and released 2 years later. Of course, a later version of that by American singer-songwriter Harry Nilsson became a hit in 1969, reaching number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and winning a Grammy Award after it's featured in the iconic film Midnight Cowboy. That's where a lot of people remember the song from. It describes a singer's desire to retreat from the harshness of the city to a more peaceful place and an easier life. The Beautiful South version went to 15 in Scotland, 12 in the UK. Everybody's Talking. Just a fantastic song. I thought they did a really good job with it. And letting Jackie or Jacques, I don't know how you say her name, have the lead on there, I thought was a nice touch, right? Because it brings the female perspective to it, and where the two big hits with Fred Neil and Harry Nilsson are obviously men. So I just thought they did a really good job with that, right? When you cover an iconic song like that, it could go south, no pun intended, but they did great with it. And our last track from Meow is Prettiest Eyes. Prettiest Eyes, a very well-written song. Look, I just turned 52 last week at the time that I'm filming this. So I think this song hits with me different than it would have hit with me if I'm 30. So I think I'm going to be more biased towards liking it because the lyrics just talk about the lines, right? The prettiest eyes, all the lines. He's recalling this life. They're 60 years old, 59 or 60 years old because they've had 60 Christmases and 59, I think, 4th of July's, whatever that would make them. But, all the memories, this line happened from this and this line happened from that, going through life's memories. And whenever this person's around, they're always smiling. And so just basically telling you live life to the fullest, right? Because life is short and he's going to remember every line on it and write it down in case the person dies. So Just a really well done sentiment, right, about life and aging. Well, we got one last song, and it's One Last Love Song. It's a non-LP CD single in 1994. One Last Love Song, just really well done. Now, they broke up, but then, I don't know, he's talking about writing songs and writing songs worse than the ballads they used to listen to, and he buys them all up. But then, I mean, did he die? Because that's kind of what I got from the first part of the song. Then later on, I'm not sure, but having Jackie come in there and sing, it's on the chorus with him is a really nice touch. It's a really good song to finish out the album. I mean, I realize it's sequential, but I mean, it works. It's a nice parting shot. Now we'll go to my favorite tracks, which is always tricky on a greatest hits, right? Honorable mentions, I'll go Song for Whoever, You Keep It All In, Everybody's Talking. I mean, I know it's a cover, but it's really well done. Fave's Gonna Be a Little Time, Old Red Eyes is back, and Prettiest Eyes. Like I said, I'm a little biased on that because I am aging. I'm not going to give an overall score because we don't usually do that on greatest hits, just because, it's going to be a fantastic score. But I will say, my first listen to Beautiful South, what stood out to me is several things. I thought the songwriting was really well done. I think that having Heaton and Hemingway, and then the two different female vocalists, Jackie Abbott and Breonna Corrigan, the mixture of them just works so well, and it's so well thought out, where they come in, they harmonize together, they trade off verse. Like, it's just really, really well done. There's a really well put together band. The production was great. The songwriting was great. The musicianship was fantastic. So this is really enjoyable. And these guys just never hit at all in America. As you saw, there's one song that went to 12 on the modern rock charts. That's it. So, I mean, I'd never even heard of them until I did the research for Trey's Top 10 2.5 years ago for the House Martins in the Beautiful South, which I'll link below. Go check that out after this. But super enjoyed that. So thank you to Richard for bringing that. Let me know what your favorite tracks on here. What else should I check out from them after this point, right? They don't break up until 2007. So let me know about that one too. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you.